Hello everyone, this is Elliott Wave Cafe. I am your host, the Cowboy, and welcome to another edition of Chart of the Day, where Monday through Thursday we take a look at different stocks, maybe crypto, maybe currencies, commodities, stuff like that, and we try to make sense of Elliott Wave and see how it can help us improve and learn to count and to become more aware of these market structures. So today will be the last video of this week, and then we'll resume back on Monday. And I have had some requests to look at Coin. So as we know, Coin, it's the company that's called COINBASE, where a lot of crypto assets get traded, and they pretty much trade in lockstep with Bitcoin. They came public in the market back in the spring of 2021, and it's been selling off. You could call that was the top in Bitcoin at the time. Then we've had another rally. This one failed to take the highs that were made back in 2021, and then we've been selling off ever since. So if you want to take a shot at this thing, why don't you stop the video here and see how you can count it, and then you'll compare it with mine and see where you stand with your Elliott Wave counting. All right. So let's begin. So I'm going to take over my arrow in here, and let's study a little bit the patterns in here, right? And this is interesting because you're actually starting up at the top, and you're coming down, right? So you're moving from the the left side, the top left side, to the bottom right, which means you're in a downtrend in the stock, and it doesn't appear that you have super clear impulses here. So it's really hard to kind of count it in a complete impulsive sequence to the downside. So what you can see and what you can notice is you can notice an impulse here, then you can notice a move against this impulse. So it's just kind of moving back higher, and then another move lower. So you got two moves lower, followed by a counter move higher. What this tells me, just basically looking at this thing, is that, I'm basically seeing here three waves. I'm seeing one wave, I'm seeing second wave, and I'm seeing third wave. And the simplest way that you can look at a three-wave structure is basically an ABC. So you're going to take your tool and place it up at the top here and do an A wave down here, and then you're going to go up in this B wave and then come down and place a C somewhere. If you want to place it all the way at the low, if you want to call the low, if you want to leave it a little bit more room, or dive down, but this should be a C wave decline until it becomes something else. So where new Elliott Wave traders kind of get caught up and make mistakes, myself included, right? I'm prone to those mistakes myself. It is that, just because you see a move like that, you already start to label it as an ABC. But this thing could turn into being a 1, 2, and then a larger third wave, 4, and 5. And instead of, this chart moves much lower and becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And before you know it, you're at $60 in coin, right? So, but for right now, because this is what we're seeing on the chart, right? The best assumption that I can have based on this move will start with a three-wave correction, and as this markets continue to unfold and it shows me a five-wave structure, then I will switch it to that. So now the second thing that I do when I have an ABC move like this, I'm trying to create a channel. So I go here to the software and I put show channel, and this automatically draws a channel in here. Guys, Motive Wave is awesome. So I've been using it for years into my Elliott Wave analysis, and I think there's a link below this video. I don't even remember. I get paid a little bit of money when people use that link to subscribe and use it for your own services, right? It's not much, but if you want to try it, go ahead and try that. The members into my channel, into my private channel, a lot of them have access to Motive Wave, and there is a way to link my charts to their chart. So every time I make a modification in here, I save it and it automatically appears on their chart. And then this way they can kind of follow every time I count something, they can follow along and see, what I'm doing in stocks or cryptos or whatever. So it's a nice feature that Motive Wave has. So this is just a little plug for the Motive Wave software if you ever want to use it. It's not cheap, but it is something that if you use Elliott Wave a lot, it comes handy, and it's very, very fast as well. So anyway, this is the channel. And so far, the price action seems that remains contained inside this channel. Now, you've had a couple of blips in here, that are hinting that listen, there might be something else going on. But so far we haven't decisively broken below that, because the moment you break, you could move into this being, let's say, a larger third wave. So let's keep an eye on it so far. Okay, so now we've established that we have a pretty good impulse here, all right? So that's a wave A, and now you're looking up in this B wave. So let's just, for the sake of the argument, is just kind of learning a structure in here. Let's see what we're seeing in here. So I'm seeing a bunch of overlapping moves, right, from this low to this high, but then I see the biggest correction in here, right? This is the larger structure, moves down in 3 waves as well. So you have a move down, a move up, and then a move down. So that's a 3-wave move. So I'm going to go ahead and label that as an ABC, because that's how it looks like, right? So you have down in A, up in B, and then down in C, right? Counting this in a 5-wave structure, it makes no sense. It's clearly a 3-wave pattern. And then if you want to dive inside this, maybe in smaller time frames, you can find that this is a 5-wave move. That's a 3-wave move. You can actually visually see it. And then that's another 5-wave move, because every single impulsive leg needs to have 5 waves. So now we're left with this structure in here, from this lows to this highs, and this is very, very choppy. So, you know, how we're going to count this to, you know, have an impulsive move, right? Because if this is a B wave, that means that this has got to be wave A of B, right? Or wave W, and this has got to be wave B of B, and that's C of B or Y of B. Because in a B wave correction, you can have multiple scenarios. You can have a zigzag, you can have a double zigzag, you can have a triangle, you can have a flat. There's all sorts of scenarios that can happen in a B wave, but, you know, I'm trying to come up with my best interpretation here. So the way I'm kind of looking at this, I'm seeing a wave up in here, I'm seeing a 3-wave down, I'm seeing another 3-wave up, 3-wave down, and then I'm seeing another, you know, sort of a 3-wave move up here. Now I'm noticing a couple of other things. I'm noticing that this move here, it's small. This one, it's a bit larger, and then this one, it's much larger than any of the other ones. And when I'm thinking impulses, when I'm thinking motive waves, there's only 2 types of patterns that you can have. You can have an impulse and you can have a motive wave. So, I mean, I'm sorry, yes, you can have an impulse or you can have a diagonal. So any motive wave, you can only have 2 things, impulse or diagonal. Both are in 5 waves. So I think I made that clear. Now, since this is not a super clean impulse, right, because you have overlaps. In an impulse, you cannot have overlaps. You know, wave 3, a wave 4 cannot enter in the territory of the wave 1. Right? There's all these rules that you have in an impulse, right? You cannot have overlap. So if this is not an impulse, you know, but it's still a motive wave, then what is it? Well, then it's got to be a diagonal. So the way we do that is I go and I decompose this as a leading diagonal, because it leads a move upwards, right? So I'm looking at this as a leading diagonal, but if you know the rules and guidelines, in a leading diagonal, they can be the 2 kinds, right? They could be, and I'm going to make a couple of lines here. They could be contracting like this. It's a leading diagonal, or they could be diverging, where they go like that. Both of these are diagonals. One of them is contracting, the other one is expanding. So if you look at this move back in here, it looks like something that's expanding, right? So I'm going to go here, decompose. Actually, let me do an ABC there, just to be clear. So I'm going to go and place this as an A. So that's a B. And then we're going to go up in C. So now I have a 3-wave pattern in there, right? That's pretty clean that that's an impulse. So now in here, I'm going to decompose this as a leading diagonal. And you're going to have your wave 1, your wave 2, your wave 3, and the softer puts wave 4 there, which I don't like, because I think it's, you know, it's not good. You have to push it back in here. So you have to, you know, the software will not give you automatically the counts, although the software does it sometimes, but you got to work it. You got to use, you know, the waves to make sure you're following the rules and the guidelines. So this becomes an expanding leading diagonal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and make it and show the channel, and you can see kind of how it has this expanding characteristic, right? These lines are not contracting, they're rather expanding. So wave 3 is bigger than wave 1, wave 5 is bigger than wave 3, wave 4 is bigger than wave 2, and inside the leading diagonal you have zigzags. Now remember, and this is beyond the purpose of this discussion, but you know, you can pick it up from here. In a leading diagonal, you can have the internal legs, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they can be both zigzags or they can be impulses. When you have an ending diagonal, they can only be zigzags. Okay, you cannot have impulses inside that move. So that's why you can label this as a leading diagonal and be okay with it having 3 waves inside that structure. So this is an expanding linear diagonal in a wave A. You come down in an A, B, C, and then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave C. So that becomes another impulse higher. And it takes you up all the way to, let's do a fib in there. I'm going to do Alt B, and you go up into the 78.6 retracement of this entire move. Just kind of save that up. There you go. So now you're asking, well, can this be a flat? Can this be a flat? Well, because you might say, well, what if this is a 3-wave move? So you have a 3, 3, and then down in 5. It could be, but here is what I don't like about it, right? Here's the thing. The B wave needs to travel about 90% of the wave A, and I've talked about it in yesterday's video. So due to that, I'm going to have to label this as a zigzag and not as a flat correction, right? If this wave B would have been higher, right, then I would have said, I think, you can work it both ways and you can look at it as this being a flat scenario, But either way, the implications are the same. It doesn't really matter, how you're looking at it. So now you're left with a C wave declining here. Let me delete these lines. And now it's happening. It's like, okay, now what are we doing? Is this move over? Is it not over? And, how we identify this? Well, I am seeing, a pretty good impulse out of there. I'm seeing a correction. I'm seeing another impulse in here with a little bit of a breakaway right there, right, with an acceleration gap in there. And then you can see another correction and then another move lower. So you might say to yourself, well, this does look like you might have a completed structure. Is it though? That's the question. And nobody really knows if that's the case. You have to start looking for evidence that that's the case. And one of the first signals for that would be obviously that this market will start to climb higher. And the way I look at it is like I wanted to see it above 217.50. And if it moves above there, then, I start to say, well, it's pretty secure to move a wave C back in here, right? So let's just assume that this is not over and I start to kind of count it. And I'm going to go like this. I'm going to start from the top there and I'm going to take my impulsive tool and I'm going to go and look at this and I see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in an ending. I think this whole move in here could be a wave 1 right there. So I'm going to go up in 1, down in 2, and then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for a wave 3. ABC up in 4 and then down in 5. So for right now, this is my best interpretation in here. Okay, I can have, you can look at this inside this wave 1. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4 and 5. So you can actually dissect this and go decompose as an impulse, right? And you go wave 1 terminates right there, wave 2 up there, right? And then you have another 1, 2, and then this fourth wave comes back in there, and this wave 3 terminates right there. Okay, and if you look inside, because inside this third wave is very important at the lower degree that you have 5 waves. So you look inside, you can see 1, 2, third of a third, 4, and 5. So this leads me to believe that this is a wave 1 down into these lows and not any higher. Then you're pushing higher here in the second wave, and this travels to about 38%. I would like my second wave to be a little bit bigger, but usually if you only pull back 38%, that means that the move that's coming is quite strong. So here you come lower and you create another 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for a larger third and a fourth and a fifth. Okay. So is this fifth wave over? Here is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this fourth wave and I'm counting 1, 2, and I'm seeing a 3, but I'm not seeing a fourth anywhere in here. So there might be still a fourth wave coming in here, followed by a final flush in this wave 5 to complete wave C. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. I'm giving this market a little bit of a chance to continue to push lower one more time after it creates a little bit of a triangle in here. And only then, I'll start to get more confident that this move is about to be completed. So this is this is where I'm at in this count. I think it looks pretty good in an A. I think it looks pretty good in a B. It looks down in a C. Let's measure C versus A and see where that takes us. So I'm going to go Alt C, and you can see in here that the software automatically measures it. And I have a 618 was at 100%. So back at about $178, C wave of this zigzag was equal with wave A. You push back below that almost into 120%, and then 1618 comes at about 114. Now, if the market gets all the way down there, I'll be willing to consider that possibly this is a third wave and not a C wave anymore, because you're already having a much larger decline lower, and then you should be looking for a fourth and a fifth, right? But until that happens, you know, I'm going to stay with the zigzag idea, and then this ABC, it's about to be completed in the near term here, right? So now the question is, you know, let's delete all of this and say, how can I be wrong in this, right? What if this doesn't happen? Well, you're going to find out from the market, because if this whole thing here was a 1-2 and a 1-2, the market is going to crash lower. You have no way of knowing what the market will do, and nobody ever does. That's the good news, right? You think that you're the only one that doesn't know? Nobody knows. And the markets can surprise, things can happen. Look, we have a war with Ukraine right now, Russia, and there's a lot of things that can just kind of come out in the world, right? That's life. So one of the things is that, you know, we don't know, and then this could become a much larger decline lower. So you can look at it as a 1-2, 1-2, or you can look at it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's completed. That's a second wave, and you crash lower. So there's all kind of things that can happen. But for now, this is my best interpretation, and I have to go with my best approach, right? And this is what I'm thinking about it. And if it breaks lower, it's not my fault, right? Because you can come up with all kind of scenarios, sometimes to feed your bias. But it is not your fault if the market breaks, as long as you know that you've done your best work possible on, you know, with the evidence that you have from the market at the moment. So based on what I see so far in the market, this is my best interpretation. After a fifth wave, it's over. I'm going to expect a rally higher in here. It could be that these highs are going to get taken out, 367, and you're going to go in a much larger impulse. It could be that this could be just a simple, let's say, X wave. You can go, for example, from here, you can go, sorry about that. Let me pull it again. And you can go in an A, B, C, and this could become another X wave. Back to the top of this channel right in there, this could become an X. This is an ABC for a W. You can go ABC for an X, and you can break lower once again. So unfortunately, nobody can read the future that far. You don't know what coin is going to do. You don't know what earnings they're going to have. You know, if there's going to be any regulations coming down the pipe. There's all kinds of surprises that life can throw at us. So you can only work with what you have in front of you, and the right side of the chart is empty. So go ahead and put your best work out there. And if you came up with the solution, you know, congrats. If you have something else, let me know what you had. Again, you know, if you did it as a flat, that's fine too. I'll accept it, even though, you know, you don't have an 80% retracement in there, 90% retracement. But again, you know, come and visit us into the pro room. We do this every single day. We have videos on a lot of assets, and you know, macro and oil and gold and everything else. I talk about this all the time with my members. We discuss wave counts, especially in Bitcoin, with regular updates. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. You know, let me know what you want to see next. You know, I still have a few things that I want to show you, but it's pretty much going to be, you know, more of the same, where we kind of dive in and dissect wave counts and explain chart patterns. So this channel can become the best Elliott Wave channel on the internet, guys, and we can continue to grow. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers, so hopefully we can grow that number and get much bigger. But again, thanks for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I'll be talking to you later. Don't forget to check out my Twitter channel as well, because I post some stuff there every once in a while, and I'm trying to get a following there too. But anyway, I see everybody later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.